So in the antimicrobials, at several places we have discussed the drugs used for various types of infections. Here we will discuss a unique thing which are commonly asked in the MCQs, the drugs which are not effective in particular infections, because most of the time the question asked is all of the following drugs are effective against this organism except. So we have around 20, 25, 30 drugs effective against that organism. So one way of answering that question is remember all those 25, 30 drugs and then rule out the option. And the second way is just remember the drugs which are not effective against particular organism, so which is asked in the exam. Okay? So we will discuss here starting with a very important organism called as Mycoplasma. So which drug is not effective against Mycoplasma? Logically, Mycoplasma do not contain cell wall. So any drug which inhibits cell wall synthesis will not be effective against Mycoplasma. So not effective drugs against Mycoplasma, these are cell wall synthesis inhibitors like beta-lactams, penicillins, cephalosporins or vancomycin. So these are not effective against Mycoplasma. And what is drug of choice for Mycoplasma? Yes, macrolides like erythromycin, azithromycin, they are drug of choice for Mycoplasma. Here we are writing drug of choice, here which is not effective. So mostly the question asked is which is not effective. So answer is cell wall synthesis inhibitors. Then second of the organisms is MRSA, methicillin resistant Staph aureus. Remember, this organism become resistant to methicillin because it acquires altered penicillin binding protein. In simple language, in this bacteria Staph aureus, the proteins where the penicillins or beta-lactams bind, they are changed, they are altered. So when the binding place is changed, so no beta-lactam is effective. So the special point to remember, which drugs are not effective for MRSA? Beta-lactams are not effective, except one group of beta-lactam, which is 5th generation of cephalosporins, they are effective. Apart from that, no other beta-lactam. That means no penicillin, no cephalosporin, and no carbapenem and no monobactams, except the 5th generation cephalosporins are effective. Whereas MRSA, what is the drug of choice? Drug of choice for treatment is vancomycin. Vancomycin is a drug of choice for treatment of MRSA infections, but MRSA may be colonized in the nasal mucosa. So in the nose there is colonization of MRSA, the person is having no infection, no problem, only the MRSA is residing in the nostril. So this MRSA can be transferred to other people. So this is a carrier person which has colonization of MRSA in the nasal mucosa. The drug of choice in those carriers is topical drugs like mupirocin or bacitracin. Mupirocin or bacitracin, these are topical drugs. These are drug of choice for nasal carriers of MRS, whereas vancomycin is drug of choice for treatment of MRS. Then third organism where not effective is important is Pseudomonas. Many drugs are effective against Pseudomonas. The drug which is not effective, you need to remember, is vancomycin. Vancomycin is used for gram-positive bacteria mainly. It is not effective against gram-negative bacteria, including Pseudomonas. It is not effective. Now, what is drug of choice for Pseudomonas? For Pseudomonas, drug of choice is one of the aminoglycoside in combination with ceftazidime. Ceftazidime plus aminoglycosides is the combination which is treatment of choice for Pseudomonas. Then another organism for which not effective you need to remember is anaerobic bacteria. For anaerobes, aminoglycosides are not effective. Remember, aminoglycoside require oxygen for entry in the bacteria. So the bacteria which do not utilize oxygen, these will not be transported inside them. So aminoglycosides are not effective. And what is drug of choice? Yes, drug of choice is metronidazole For GIT infections, mostly we use metronidazole, whereas for infections like pneumonia, etc., we can use clindamycin. Clindamycin is mainly for infections of above the diaphragm, whereas below the diaphragm, that means GIT infections, we have metronidazole. Then lastly, for enteric fever, for typhoid fever, which drug is not effective? The answer is again aminoglycosides. Aminoglycosides are not effective against enteric fever. They are effective against most of the gram-negative organisms, but not against salmonella. The drug of choice for enteric fever is ceftriaxone. Ceftriaxone is drug of choice. Aminoglycosides are not effective. So these are the not effective, which are very important for MCQ. Thank you.